Here's how Korea is reacting to the ICE raids at the Hyundai battery plant in Georgia.
We need construction to cease immediately.
And this raid is the largest single-site operation that DHS has conducted in history. Of the over 450 people arrested right now, around 300 of them are Korean nationals. And this has come as quite a shock to South Korea right now because Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids.
I don't think this young lady meant any harm by what she said. I don't even think she consciously meant it, but unconsciously, I feel like Asian people think they're not going to be targeted by these type of things because they're doing what they're supposed to do. That's what a lot of people think that come to this country. They think they can do what they want to do, what they're supposed to do, and they won't get in trouble. But that's not the case. If they're coming for Latino people, right, and they're going this hard, and they're coming for, black immigrants as well, you think they're not coming for Asian immigrants? They was trying to tell y'all. They was trying to tell y'all a couple months ago, oh, yeah, Asian people, they come for y'all too. Y'all was like, oh, no, we're not getting involved, blah, blah, blah. Y'all wasn't saying a damn thing. Y'all had a lot to say about, Sierra on Love Island, as y'all should, saying that slur. But when it comes to people getting, detained and sent back to where they come from or whatever, y'all don't care about that. And these people were here on visas. So they don't give a fuck. They're trying to do any tactic they can to get some money. If they going to get money out of it, they going to do it. They're going to do some type of negotiation, and they're going to get more money out of the South Korean, leader that was here. He was here, and they were negotiating plans. And Trump did this weeks later. It's a power move. And y'all think y'all not going to be affected by it. There's no model minority. White people care about white people. And if they don't care about that, they care about money. They care about green. And y'all need to realize that.
Greetings, family, and welcome back to my channel. So, Korean Americans are in rude shock because they thought they were exempt from ICE raids. This is after ICE raided a Hyundai plant in Georgia, detaining nearly 475 immigrants, mostly Koreans. So many in the Asian communities, they are often seen as a so-called model minority, believed they were safe from such attacks. But in reality, this hits hard in the eyes of white supremacy. If you don't look like them, then you are a fair game, okay?
This message is for any Asian MAGA out there. We're next. I want to remind you that we are closer to the undocumented immigrants that are being deported right now than we are to them. We have more in common to the undocumented immigrants than we do to them. You remember how quickly MAGA turned on us during COVID, and it didn't matter if you were Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Filipinos. To them, we were just chinks responsible for the China flu. It is foolish and frankly embarrassing that you think just because you wear the red hat that you're going to be spared when your time comes. This country is never going to be pure enough or white enough, and they are never going to accept you the way that you accept them. They have forgotten that they too have immigrants' blood in them, but let us not forget the crazy, difficult journey our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents took to get here, to escape their country for a chance of a better life. This is not it. Everybody deserves that chance.
So ICE raided a Hyundai plant in Georgia on Thursday, September 4th, and detained nearly 500 people. And out of those 500, a vast majority of them were South Korean nationals. As a first-generation Korean American myself, I completely understand that our survival in the Western culture assimilation is to keep our head down, go with the flow, not make any noise. And this is where that model minority myth comes from. But I really hate that it takes a big event like this in order for people to form some empathy and to realize that standing up against ICE is not just standing up for one demographic, but it's standing up for everyone. It's super frustrating to see a bunch of Asian American creators only start to talk about it now because they see that it's affecting their community, while they've been completely silent in the past when all of these other raids have been happening. I just want to remind you guys that the model minority is a myth, and it's meant to pit us against one another. If there is even one group oppressed, then we are all oppressed. It's also important to acknowledge the power that the South Korean government holds within the world and how much of a privilege this is. There are so many people who come to the US fleeing their home country and seeking refuge. The South Korean government is currently holding press conferences advocating for the rights of the people who were taken up in this raid so that they're not unfairly infringed upon, which is such a privilege. I hope this was a wake-up call for a lot of Asian Americans out there. Your proximity proximity to whiteness will not save you because you will always be seen as other.
Okay, MAGA, hear me out. I think I have a solution. If you're so capable of making America great, instead of destroying families, deporting minorities, or just being miserable every time you leave your house and see minorities outside, because clearly the number of minorities invading this country is constantly growing, and yet somehow minorities still aren't the majority due to America's great systemic oppression. If you are so capable of making America great, go make another America. And this time, do it by yourself. Do it without stealing land that is already being occupied by natives or traveling to another continent to kidnap and enslave people so that they could come and make the land so beautiful that you don't even want nobody else on it. Not even the ones you forced over here. Do it, and don't need Hispanics to come help you build those beautiful infrastructures that you love so much. Don't need Native Americans to come and teach you agriculture and trade. Don't need the Chinese to teach you technology development or sophisticated marketing strategies. Don't need black people for a damn thing. Not even to steal our natural features and creations from our culture and then go teach your children that is something you came up with. And don't need the Koreans to come and teach you skincare when your skin starts to burn because you once again invade a land where you don't possess enough melanin to withstand the sun's radiation. Seems to me like we're the ones who made America great if it ever was. And to think, if the first illegal immigrants would have just stayed in Europe, none of this would even be an issue. Damn it! Where was ICE in 1492?
Asian community, being invisible doesn't keep us safe, and Georgia deportation 3 days ago just proved that. ICE raided Hyundai and LG battery factories, detaining nearly 500 workers, and in that, 300 were South Koreans. They were sent here to help us, and I can't help to put myself in their shoes and how terrible and terrified that must be. These people were shackled by armed men on a normal Friday just going to work. And that's reality we're talking about. I grew up in Georgia, and there's a lot of South Koreans and Asians community in Georgia, and that's what I love about it. And something that we share is family value. We work very hard, we stay very quiet, almost invisible. We don't rock the boat, and we don't dabble into politics. And as you all know, you've probably been to all the restaurants, nail salon, the dry cleaners. Because of that, I feel like a lot of our people voted for whoever promising them to protect their businesses because it's purely based on survival. But this is why when you vote out of self-interest, you give away our power as a community. What happened in Georgia just now is a painful proof because now even when we're trying to stay invisible, it doesn't protect us. Now I heard that they're saying that we're taking job from the local, and that's why this lady on TikTok is, reporting. To be honest, you don't want our job, and you never want our job, and you look down on us for doing all these jobs. I mean, have you ever roughed stinky feet? I have, my parents have, my people have. But us Asian people do what we do best. We look down, we do what we need to do to raise our families and children for the next generations. But you can't respect that. Despise wed our women, belittling our men, eat our food, enjoy our cultures and the goods that we have, traveling to our country, and still you make sure our children stay terrified of you just so you can keep your privilege in check and your people feel safe. Because when I see the South Korean story, it's just all the same shit to me. People are just wanting to raise their family. In a nation where constitution begins with we are the people, you sure don't act like it. This is not just about politics, you guys. It's about showing our works matter and what we do matter and who we are matter and our voices matters. Because if you give our voices away now, our next generation might not even have opportunity to have a voice. And it's already happening in Asian community, so wake up. You can't afford to be invisible anymore.
I just saw a TikTok where a creator talked about how Koreans suddenly care about the ICE raids because now they're impacted. He brought up a couple of things about how a lot of Korean Americans voted for Trump and how a lot of East Asians feel a false sense of proximity towards whiteness. As someone who grew up in the Midwest as like the only Asian in my school for a long time, I've never really felt that. I definitely felt more of the I am not like them feeling, but I do think a lot of Koreans have a sense of superiority around them. And one thing that continues to happen still in modern times is mission trips. Korean Christians love to go on mission trips, and it feels like modern colonization to me. I have some very religious family members that are continuing to do this, and it just feels icky. Not only that, but if you go to Korea and you're not Korean and you're not white, you will definitely get a different level of service in a lot of places. Last year, I traveled with a couple of my Chinese friends, and I noticed that they were getting treated poorly by a cashier, so I stepped in, and then things were fine. I know a lot of countries don't like a lot of tourism. It really does impact day-to-day life, but it was pretty blatant shitty service because of race. That said, I know that there are some more outspoken Korean Americans on this app and East Asians that really care more about what is happening in this country. I know that we are in a weird position where we are not accepted in Korea. Korea doesn't really like gyopos, and then we are not really accepted here because we don't look white. But if we don't start to care about other people in this country, then what are we even doing? I also know that I'm in a different position because I talk and think about race every day. My co-founders are Black and Indian. We have constant conversations about the work we do, the clients that we take on, and how that really holds true to our ethos. I personally don't really think that older generations of Koreans are going to change their minds and care about other races, but I do hope that younger generations are changing.
No, for decades, Asian immigrants were portrayed as quiet, hardworking, and law-abiding, often used by the system as a contrast against other communities of color, especially Black and Latino people. But what these ICE raids shows is that proximity to whiteness does not guarantee protection. Let's be honest, white supremacy does not play favorites, It might tolerate you when you serve its own interest, but the moment you become vulnerable or expandable, the mask comes off, This is a wake-up call for all communities of color, not just the Asians, aligning with oppression in the hope of escaping. So it has never worked. So today it's Koreans. Yesterday it was Mexicans, And for centuries, Black people has always been the threat, So it's a common thread. The system only protects its own.
To South Korea right now because Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids.
Yeah, I stopped listening after you said that. Because y'all really thought, oh, you were one of the good ones. You thought a lot of you East Asian, because you had pale skin, y'all were safe. And y'all thought it was only exclusively for the Latino, the brown skin folk. I really hope this is a wake-up call for a good chunk of the Asian community in the USA, because they're coming after everybody. Black folk for years have been saying, hey, you're in danger too. The Latino community have been saying this for years, y'all in danger. Heck, I'm pretty sure a good chunk of Asian American friends have told y'all, hey, they're coming after everybody. I really, really hope this is a wake-up call for everybody, for every minority out there who doesn't realize who votes for Trump, who vote Republican. They're coming after you too. And all these raids, it's all because they're afraid of becoming the minority. White people are afraid to become the minority. And that's why they're going after everybody. And they are willing to ruin their livelihoods, their local economies, just to maintain white supremacy.
Talk to South Korea right now because Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids.
I literally just woke up, just opened TikTok, and saw this post. This is the first thing that I see on my For You page. And I personally think that statement should have never, ever been made. It's not about the culture, it's not about the race. It's about the illegal immigrants that are being impacted by these ICE raids, no matter race or no matter what culture it is. ICE raids don't have a particular target for race. It's not about the race. Koreans are usually not a target of ICE raids. That is an absurd take. That is an absurd statement to even make. And a lot of people were making statements, oh my god, oh, it's about crime. Illegal immigrants are only responsible for 1% of the crimes in the US. There are so many better ways to do this. Not treating them inhumanely, not just taking them and stripping them out of the country. There are so many ways to go about it, but no, that is not how it's going about. It's going very badly. So many people are affected by the ICE raid, not just Koreans, so many people. And I'm going to say this again, ICE raids do not have a specific target of race. ICE raids target illegal immigrants, everyone that has been affected, every individual that has been affected. They are the people that we should be worried about. It shouldn't be the race that matters. It shouldn't be oh my god, a particular group of people, a particular culture, a particular race has been affected by this raid. No. Every individual that's been affected by the ICE raids, we should be worried about them. because everyone that's been affected by these ICE raids, they are being treated inhumanely. The treatment that they're actually like receiving is absolutely absurd. So it's not the race that matters. That statement should have never been made, ever. Spreading awareness about the ICE raids, I'm totally for it. But only like making a headline on a particular race and making it about only that race and making a statement that says, oh, Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids is beyond my head. And oh my god, I just opened TikTok and I just woke up, I got my wisdom teeth taken out too, and I had to make a video because that statement was, oh my god. We should be worried about every individual, every family that has been impacted by these like absurd ICE raids.
A lot of Asian Americans thought that they were exempt from the ICE raids, and they are quickly finding out that that is not the case. Okay, so if you have not heard, a Hyundai plant in Georgia was raided, and a number of South Korean nationals were detained. Now, Hyundai is actually a South Korean car. You know, they are a South Korean car manufacturer, and they were opening new plants in Georgia, and they had sent a number of South Koreans here to help get everything, you know, flowing. And they did have, you know, some of them obviously had visas. Now they're saying they are taking their people back, and there is going to be a pause on this Hyundai plant. Now, mind you, it's not just South Koreans that work there; it's Americans too. And now that plant might not run anymore. They might say, forget the United States, since y'all are detaining our people. Mind you, a white woman who is running for a state representative in a neighboring county actually bragged about making phone calls to ICE about potential illegal workers at the Hyundai plant. And other people who worked at the Hyundai plant called on these people. Mind you, you're working for a South Korean company and you're calling ICE on South Koreans. Nonetheless, I saw somebody say that they looked up the stats, and over 60% of Asians in Georgia voted for Trump. So they voted for this administration who is doing mass deportations, thinking that it was not going to affect their community. And I seen an Asian girl making a video about it, and she literally said Korean or Asians are normally not the target, you know, when it comes to deportation. Y'all remember what happened when they fought and sued to get rid of affirmative action, and then their acceptance rates decreased tremendously, while, you know, acceptance rates of African Americans or black people who they thought were getting in by affirmative action remained the same. They think they are the exception, and every time they find out.
You know, I've seen that most minority groups in the USA, they like aligning themselves to white supremacists, thinking that they'll be favored, you know? So, to my Asian brothers and sisters, this isn't just your fight, no? It is our fight. Because when the system comes for one of us, it eventually comes for all of us. The Hyundai raids are more than just an immigration issue, you know? They're a reminder that the white supremacy is an equal opportunity oppressor. So the question now is, will we finally stand together, or will we keep learning from these lessons the hard way? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.